Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Have you ever wondered how the U.S. went from 13 colonies to the giant country it is today? Well, throughout the years, we have gained land in large and small amounts. One of the biggest expansions was caused by the Mexican-American War.
Because of the war, we gained lots of land that was previously Mexico's, including Texas, New Mexico, and California. But how did it all start? It all comes down to Americans and Manifest Destiny. Manifest Destiny was an idea that America was destined to stretch from sea to shining sea. However, some of the land was already occupied by Mexicans and Native Americans.
Texas was admitted into the U.S. despite the fact that Mexico still claimed it, and Northerners were angry because Texas was a slave state. There was also a border dispute between Texas and Mexico. Texas wanted the Rio Grande River as a border, then Mexico wanted the Nueces River.
Polk, who was the president at the time, sent John Slidell to settle the dispute. He offered $15 million for California, New Mexico, and Texas. However, this suggestion failed. Polk sent troops to the northern borders of the Rio Grande. Mexico then moved their troops to the southern border. Mexico attacked, wounding 16 American soldiers.
This battle caused the Congress to declare war, but many Americans did not support this decision. Abraham Lincoln was one example, as well as Americans in the North Seas. Southerners saw gaining Texas as an opportunity for more slavery. The U.S. still went to war even though they lacked support.
General Stephen Kearny marched his troops to New Mexico on the Santa Fe Trail. He made the Mexican troops think that he was going to withdraw, so he got New Mexico peacefully. Then they headed to California, where they encountered the Bear Flag Revolt. This was a rebellion of Americans against Mexico. The Americans had become independent of Mexico.
Even though they easily conquered New Mexico and California, Mexico was a lot harder. The U.S. troops went into Mexico from two ways. General Taylor went south towards Monterrey, Mexico. In February of 1847, General Taylor and 4,800 men went near a ranch called Buena Vista, where they encountered Santa Anna and his 15,000 soldiers.
The Battle of Buena Vista was a hard-fought battle on both sides. After the second day of fighting was over, Santa Anna said, in quotes, "Both armies have been cut to pieces." This quote really shows how intense this was and how both Mexico and America had losses due to the battle. In the end, the U.S. won, ending the battles in northern Mexico.
Fighting was still going on in the southern Mexico. General Winfield Scott and his army landed on the Gulf of Mexico, where they then made their way inland towards Mexico City. When they were just outside the capital, Scott and his forces were met with over 1,000 Mexican soldiers who were defending Mexico City. This battle was also won by the U.S., and they conquered Mexico City. Fighting was still going on in the southern Mexico. General Winfield Scott and his army landed on the Gulf of Mexico, where they then made their way inland towards Mexico City. When they were just outside the capital, Scott and his forces were met with over 1,000 Mexican soldiers who were defending Mexico City. This battle was also won by the U.S., and they conquered Mexico City.
The war ended with a treaty, settling the disputes. This treaty was called the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, and it did the following three things. Number one, Mexico gave up Texas and ceded the Mexican Cession. The Mexican Cession was a very large area comprising of California, Nevada, Utah, Arizona, and other pieces of certain states. Mexicans were not happy that they had lost so much land, and it was a huge loss for the country as a whole.
Number two, settle the border dispute. The Rio Grande River was decided as the border, rather than the Nueces River.
All the territories cost $15 million, and the U.S. also made a promise to protect the Mexican population in their new land. Because white settlers and Mexicans lived together, there was a new culture in the Mexican Cession territory.
To complete the U.S., there was only one more area to be gained, the Gatun Purchase. The U.S. needed this to complete the Transcontinental Railroad, so Polk bought it for $10 million in 1856.
The war was very helpful for the U.S., but the outcome was very different for Mexican people because they lost so much of their land. In conclusion, the war was very helpful for the Manifest Destiny and was a big turning point for the U.S., a relatively new nation at the time. It helped us gain land needed to complete the U.S. Thank you.